Hi, I'm Bob Batcher, the Executive Director of Prime Plus Senior Centers, and this is Primetime with Bob. And I'm with no, not an old friend,
Yeah,
a
careful.
longtime friend, Lori Crouch, who's the Communications Director for the City of Norfolk. And it's kind of weird being here talking with you as a has-been to right there, you're in the middle of the trenches. How's it going?
It's going well, and it's good to see you and everybody watching. I think I feel them in the virtual world,
It's
but no, it's going really well. We've been really busy since mid-March when COVID sort of changed everybody's lives. So working a lot.
I know it. I mean, I've sat at the desk today saying, okay, what's next? I don't know. And should we or shouldn't we open? Are we open? How do we define things now? The reality has just changed. How in the world does a city with, I don't know, 26, I'm trying to remember all this, 26 different business practices, thousands and thousands of people who have needs and hundreds of neighborhoods. How are you doing it?
We are trying to be really thoughtful, and I think, like most businesses and people in general, they're really rethinking how they make those connections, and trying to redefine where you meet people where they're at. So you can't have these meetings in person anymore. City Hall has been closed for since the very beginning and for a while. So it's really caused us to think about how do you engage with residents, how do you engage with our stakeholders safely, and in new ways. And in that regard, it's kind of exciting. We're trying new things. Our IT department has been amazing, because most of the workforce is teleworking, while a lot of us are still, a large chunk are still out in the field and responding. And we've sort of taken the philosophy that we're going to be slow and steady and thoughtful as we add more services online, add more in-person services. But at the same time, how do we continue to provide really great service to our community, and maybe do that in a different way?
Yeah, well, and that sounds easy, but having come from that environment, you mentioned IT. I mean, I remember the days of they were kind of in a box, and their goal was to keep the system safe from the world.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're having to say, we got to open it up, right? So
Well,
everything was a paradigm shift, isn't it?
it's been different. And I think, in those early stages, that team has been amazing, because if you go from taking a workforce of 5,000 and a large chunk of those folks are now moving to teleworking, it's how do you ensure that we can still maintain a high level of service, protect the city's infrastructure, digital infrastructure, while we have employees working from home, and it's been really interesting. But I think overall, successfully, it's been pretty well. I mean, they've done a good job. So we're connected. So that's a good
Well.
thing.
Speaking as a resident, I've had bulk waste picked up. I mean, the things that I normally would do with the city, and as I always say in this show, I've been doing, but just differently. Okay, here's one of the things I loved when I was there, was doing the community conversations, bringing hundreds of people together and getting them to sit around a table and talk with each other and breathe on each other. You're not able to do that now.
No, we don't. We're not doing that.
So
But
how are
we
you
are.
doing good stuff?
So neighborhood development has been doing a really great job of thinking about how to innovatively connect in a virtual environment with residents. And so all of the Civic League meetings that they're involved in, all of the task force meetings that they're involved in, are taking place in a virtual environment. And so what they have been doing now is still providing these opportunities for engagement and training, but they're doing it online. So if you want to learn how to use the My Norfolk mobile app, they're doing that training, but they're doing it online. If you want to learn how to use social media, because there's a large chunk of our population that we recognize are not on social media. But you want to learn how to do that neighborhood engagement is providing these opportunities, but they're doing it online. So it's thinking differently, but still maintaining. We want people to know we're here. We're just not in person in a lot of cases there, but we're still here.
And I've also, I rely now on the the neighborhood app
Hmm.
with my neighbor telling me what's going on. And quite often I'll see either you've written in on it, so you're using that network too. So again, there's ways to get plugged in. Okay. I used to call 664-6510. It was the number that I could recite in my sleep. I called it the last time, and I actually was doing the app instead, and it won. Is that what you want people to do, is use the app?
We really want them to use the app. And I know some folks are like, I don't want another app on my phone, or I don't know how to use the app, and they might be intimidated by that type of technology, but it's really, really important. Last week alone, in just a 4-day period of time, we had 2,800 phone calls into Norfolk Cares, and the average wait time is about 4 minutes. So we're experiencing a longer wait time, and we really want people, if they have a missed trash collection, if they need to request a bulk waste pickup, the easiest thing that they can do that is to download this My Norfolk mobile app. It's putting Norfolk Cares that you're used to calling on your phone, on your computer, and going in that way to make your service request. It's so easy. And it walks you right through all the information that you need to provide. You hit send and you're done. And it gets routed directly to the department that needs to address the concern.
So I don't have to remember your cell number anymore?
No, you don't.
No, really, it was really cool because, I barely had gotten done doing it where I got a response back saying, we're working on it. So
yep, you get an immediate response and then an update. So they'll let you know, and then when it's closed, there should be a comment in there that says this has been closed because you're either your trash was picked up or your bulk waste was handled, or recycling, or whatever the concern is.
So if City Hall is closed, how are the departments working together?
So we still meet, but we're meeting virtually. A lot of emails. We are trying some new technology that we can use to communicate quickly to each other. But I will just say it's different, right? So I think we all still very much miss that in-person opportunities. I miss seeing my team in person. All that activity that happens in an office environment where we're able to really quickly, you remember, you lean out your office door and you shout, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Or, "Hey, what do you think about that?" And so now I have to do "Hey" on a phone, and so, or in an email, and it just doesn't have that sense of, I guess there's still that delay of a little bit of immediacy, right? But we're still just trying to talk to each other, but there's a lot more emails, there's a lot more phone calls that take place, so we can all stay connected.
Okay, here's one. I had a whiff of cabbage soup. Do you know where I'm going with this? Because on the news, there's a hurricane coming up the coast.
Yeah.
And there are checklists. There are things that happen. The emergency operations center will get open. The cabbage soup will be ordered. It doesn't work that way anymore, does it?
No, so we have a wonderful emergency manager, and we are having these conversations about how are we going to ensure the health and safety of, should we open shelters, to make sure that people are protected. And I think everyone has to understand that it's going to take, we say this a lot on social media, we're telling people to mask up Norfolk, but it is really going to take all of us together, especially if we're going to be dealing with a hurricane impacting the city in any way. So we are having those conversations now. We are making these plans now, but it's really going to be important that everyone understands that in this COVID world that we're living in, things might be looking a little bit different, but boy, the health and safety of residents are going to always be the top priority. So, and I think I can't stress that enough. Maybe residents are looking at other localities and they see localities making different decisions than what Norfolk is making, but Norfolk is a unique and wonderfully diverse city, and we're trying to make sure that everything that we're doing is with the health and safety of our employees, but also of our residents and our patrons. So, our library operations might be a little bit different than people experience in other localities. Our recreation center might be a little bit different than people experience in other localities, but we are doing everything, ensuring that we're following the mandates that have been set by the governor. So, there are restrictions in visiting our places. We want to make sure people are maintaining a good physical distance, and wearing masks when they come into a city facility. And so those things will be in place should we face a decision where we need to open up a shelter. And, it's just really being very thoughtful right now with turning on, if we turn on additional services or additional in-person activity, because we just recognize that COVID is with us and with us for a while. And we really want people to be safe. And we're going to take our time, and we're going to be thoughtful about what we're doing.
Lori, we've only got about a minute and a half left. And I want to kind of leave it with you, because there's also that financial part with the city, because when you think of the kind of commitments made, and I, from having been involved with those budget messages and that kind of thing, when you close scope down for the safety of the public, that comes with a dollar sign. I mean, a lot of the stuff that's been done, not only will it improve our ability to get out of this, but it will impact the financial status of the city for years to come. I mean, how is that being discussed at the table?
So the city manager, as everyone knows, there's a $40 million budget gap that based on COVID. And so the city manager will come back to council in November with an update. And so that's part of this slow and deliberate process of looking at what we can provide right now for the health and safety of the employees and the patrons, but also what's financially, we're able to do. And so in November, he'll provide another update, because that's the swirling unknown that we live in with COVID, is we don't know what the finances are going to look like as we progress through the fiscal year. And so that update will be coming in November, and I encourage everybody to really watch the meetings, and they're live streamed on the website.
Good.
Yeah,
watch the
meetings. We live stream them on the website. You just go right to the front page of norfolk.gov, or if you're a Cox Cable subscriber, you can watch them on TV 48. Really watch those meetings, because I think there's a lot of good information that is shared that will be helpful for everyone.
Lori, thank you.
You're welcome. It was good seeing you.
The world is expecting normal, but you're living in a very different world. And I want to thank you for living that. And please pass my regards off to all the superheroes that are making city services happen, because we're able to sit back, relax, and enjoy the work you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
And while we're relaxing, keep in mind, stay safe, but stay connected. Thanks a lot.